All right. So whenever I think we're getting close to an intermediate bottom, I'll very often offer some kind of a discount to get people joined up with the SMT, and then hopefully they can take advantage of the intermediate rally. I did that with stocks, and I'm going to cover those here in a minute. But as I noted in my previous video yesterday, gold appears to be in the middle of a bloodbath phase. As any of you who've watched my videos in the past know, they tend to run 5 to 7 days. Today, I tend to start counting a bloodbath phase once a support zone is broken. So I'm going to say this is the support zone here right at about 1780. It broke 3 days ago, and then it accelerated the second day, which is a pretty big clue that we're in the middle of a bloodbath. I'm starting to see irrational downside targets. That tends to happen when you get into the final bloodbath phase. Today we've got just a kind of a flat day. That'll often happen. At 5 to 7 days down doesn't mean that we have 5 to 7 huge down days every day. You can get an up day or a flat day, or you can even get a small little flag that then breaks and goes to the downside. But we're on day 3, so I'm going to say probably next week we'll get our intermediate bottom, and then we're going to have a very good opportunity in metals. So I'll offer that $5 initial 1-month subscription to the SMT for new subscribers. It's not going to apply to current members that want to cancel their subscription and then re-sign up. You're not going to get a discount, but for new subscribers, I'll offer the $5, the first month for $5, because we are getting very close to a bottom in metals. But what I really want to look at, and I told people this was coming, and I think we've got enough evidence now to say that I was correct, that we're getting a bottom here. And we had to make 2 tries at this. So we tried here on the possibility that this was the intermediate bottom. So that's when I first offered the discount, and I told people about a potential trade where you don't have to risk very much money, and if we do get an intermediate bottom, then you can make a lot of money and probably pay for at least 1, 2, or 3 years worth of SMT subscriptions. But we had another short daily cycle down, so the first trade didn't work out, or probably isn't going to work out. Now, if we can get above 306, that was where we put the call option on, we'll at least get back into the money, but we won't make any huge profit on that trade because we've kind of run out of time. But 2 days ago, I entered again for a second try. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 tries to catch the trend, and I think this time I've caught it, and I'm pretty sure we'll make back any losses from this first attempt that we did, and go on to make some good profits, and probably more than enough to pay for a full year's subscription to the SMT, again with very little risk. So anyway, that trade appears to be working out now. Here is our intermediate downtrend line. One of the things, this is just one of the parameters I look for to confirm that an intermediate bottom has been left behind is a break of the intermediate trend line. So this is on the NASDAQ 100 tracking ETF, the QQQ. The Qs, however, are not the cyclical driver for stocks. That's the S&P, but sometimes, very often in fact, the Qs will lead. So we've got an intermediate trend line break in the Qs. We've got an initial rally off of the low. The bears have tried to regain control here, and they took the market back down a little bit, kind of got a weak test of that bottom, but it appears that test is going to succeed, and now we're moving back up again. The RSI was not able to come down here and embed in the oversold condition, which would be a sign that we are still in an intermediate decline. We're just now starting to get overbought. If this overbought can embed, and we see it, get up here into the 75 or 80, or maybe hold in this overbought condition for several days or a week, that would also be a sign that the intermediate cycle low is behind us. You know, the odds are pretty high at this point that this was the intermediate cycle low. There are still more confirmations that have to come, but this is an important one. And I think the NASDAQ is leading. So what we need to see next is the S&P has to break that trend line. So here's the S&P trend line right here. Now, we've got a ways to go, which means this rally should last a considerable amount of time. I'm gonna say this rally's probably gonna run into mid-August, maybe even early September. But as of right now, this looks like a bear market to me, and we just really haven't had a convincing bear market rally yet. But I think we're starting one, and I think you know, not only will it have to break this trend line, but I think it's probably gonna come up and break above this pivot. Maybe we could even get into the 43 to 4,400 range. That would probably convince the vast majority of people that this was just a normal, or not normal, but a really severe correction, and that this is not a bear market, and that, you know, we're on to new highs, and that is a possibility. But right now, I think that we're probably going to just rally enough to convince everyone that the bear trend is over, and then that's when the market will turn and go back down, and we may be setting up for some like a really nasty crash in the fall, in September or maybe October, right ahead of the elections. So that's kind of my template for what I think is going to play out here in the meantime. But either way, anyway, you know, the reason for the initial discount was to get people on board for this intermediate cycle low. Our first try didn't work out, but I think our second one is, and I think we'll easily make back the losses on that first try, and then make some nice profit on top of it. So once again, I think we're pretty close to a final bottom in the metals, and so I'm going to offer that $5 initial subscription for your first month. I'll offer it for a few days here. When you click on the link below, if you see the first month for $5, you'll know the offer is still valid. If you're watching this on the SMT blog, then you can just click on the orange sign up link in the top right hand corner.